Let's be friends.
Have you not?
And here we go.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ambassador Wing and a very special rewind stream. And tonight, in preparation for Deadpool and Wolverine, which comes out this weekend, tonight we are revisiting Deadpool and Deadpool 2. And before we get all into all of that, welcome one and all to the Ambassador Wing. I hope you all enjoyed the stream tonight. Hope you enjoyed the review and the discussion. And as always, this is a live panel review. So if you want to join me and the rest of my panelists or anything, I have posted the link in the chat. So hit that sucker and jump on in. And make sure you smash that like button. That helps out with the algorithm and all those things that goes on with YouTube and all that jazz. And if you enjoyed the review tonight, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit all notifications so you know when I upload or when I go live. And, well, that's the housekeeping part. Let's get into the stream. We all know Deadpool and Wolverine are coming out this Friday. For people that are out in different coasts or getting ready to see it tonight, and I wish them all the enjoyment that they possibly can muster. And I do want to say, if you're tired of hearing about how much the Acolyte sucks, and if you are trying to get away from the politics of right now, this is the place to be. This is the channel to be at. This is where you should come. This is where we have the fun. This is where we talk about the fun stuff. We don't talk about how everything sucks. Not that that's a bad thing, because, well, even I sometimes do that too. But regardless, tonight we are discussing Deadpool and Deadpool 2. And with me tonight, I've got two very good friends, two regulars here at the Ambassador Wing. You know them. You love them. I love them too. They're two of my favorite people. Miss Alicia Victoria Parker and her very awesome significant other, Mr. Jack Beers.
Hi,
Lisa,
everybody.
Jack, good to see you both. Please, as always, glad to have you on board. And it's been a minute. How have y'all been?
Great.
Pretty good. Been setting up for slowly setting up for Halloween.
Ooh, boys and girls of every age, would you like to see something strange?
Come with this. Okay.
What's this? What's that?
Okay.
There's magic everywhere.
Well, tonight we're talking about Halloween. We're talking about the regenerating degenerate, Mr. Wade Winston Wilson, a.k.a. Deadpool, a.k.a. one of the most cosplay characters in all of comic book fandom ever. And this was after the debacle that is known as X-Men Origins Wolverine had become a passion project of one Mr. Ryan Reynolds. And to him, I have to say, we thank you. We thank you, Mr. Reynolds. We thank you so much.
Yes,
Yes.
I showed her X-Men's Origins Wolverine first.
Yes,
Oh,
this seems with
okay.
his mouth shut. Oh.
No, that is a big ball of badness and sadness that nobody acknowledges as canon anymore. It's as
Attach the
uncanon as
tissue.
Don't pass the tissue to Wade. You might give him ideas. Just saying.
He'll just blow it up. Go pow.
He seems to be, not that I'm saying this is a bad thing. He seems to be somewhat open with his romantic entanglements. Just saying. But yeah, Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I went and saw, me and Madam Ambassador went and saw the first one. Or I think. No, I saw the first one in theaters when it came out originally. We didn't get a chance to see Deadpool 2, and I didn't watch Deadpool 2 until last night. Like, literally, last night. I've seen clips of it, and when I finally watched it its entirety, I was like, why did I wait so long to watch this movie? This is right up my freaking alley. You've got Josh Brolin as Cable, you've got Domino, you've got a very brief cameo by one Mr. Brad Pitt. You've got Terry Crews. Of course, the first movie is iconic as all hell. You've got Gina Carano versus Colossus. You've got Angel versus Colossus. And him being so prim and proper, he's like, "Oh, you're a very lovely woman." And she's like, "Well, aren't you so sweet? You're so kind." And then she just hauls off and cold cocks him. I'm ganked. I'm a ganked. I'm gink. And of course, we have one of the most awesomest characters in the history of X-Men with one of the most awesome names ever. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Oh my freaking gosh.
You know,
This
I have a
girl. Go
figure of her. I have a figure of her. I just don't know where, but she came with Deadpool when I got my Deadpool. And so
I hate you, Jack. I hate you so much. I hate you.
Where's his unicorn?
yeah, he came
Yeah,
with a
his unicorn.
He came with a unicorn.
But getting into the first Deadpool properly, I mean, this was a passion project for many years by Ryan Reynolds and several other producers and a director and writers and everything because they hated what was done to Deadpool and X-Men Origins Wolverine. They're like, "What the hell is this? You've got a closed-mouthed gimp in sweatpants with blades coming out of his arms. What the hell is this? This is not Deadpool. This is not Project 11. This is a desecration of everything that is awesome and excellent about Deadpool." And so for years and years and years, Ryan Reynolds was trying to put together a crew and get a writer and get director to do Deadpool, and then we got that leaked footage, that leaked sequence where he's sitting on the overpass, which of course was the basis for the opening sequence of the first Deadpool. So, Alicia, Jack, wherever you want to pick up with what I just brought up, let's jump in. Go ahead, guys.
So yeah, Deadpool was one of those things where you could either do it right or you can do it wrong. And the first time they did it, it was completely wrong because Deadpool is a fourth wall breaker. Like he knows he's in a comic book or a movie or whatever he's in, and he constantly breaks the fourth wall and talks to the audience. It's not an inner dialogue like Spider-Man or Batman would do. He's literally talking to his audience, and and he doesn't shut up. They made a big deal. They made a big deal about that. He never shuts up. But then they Stryker found a way to finally shut you up. Hold on. Stryker found a way to finally shut you up, huh? And that's what he did, but not via this. I don't have the other figures. So.
That's creepy.
Nor should you. Nor should you.
That is not allowed in this house.
That figure should be burned.
Yes, it looks like a
napalm.
Frankenstein kind of thing. The way it's made. Oh.
Yeah. Oh dear heavens! That figure is the stuff of geeks' nightmares. And well, hi, hello. I was one of those geeks. I hated that figure. It made me. I knew of Deadpool when X-Men Origins Wolverine came out, and when they casted Ryan Reynolds, I had seen him in Blade Trinity, and I loved him in Blade Trinity. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I like Blade Trinity. I like all three of the Blade movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And him as Hannibal King, I'm like, if they ever do another Marvel movie, they need to put this guy in something. And, well, they picked the perfect something, except they executed the character all wrong.
They did. And that's all the management, writers, story people, producers. That's all on them. Because now that you know how a Deadpool could have been, they really what do you call it? Kick themselves in the ass the first time.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I have been an X-Men fan since I was a kid. I loved all the different teams, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, X-Force, Excalibur, Logan, all those characters. All of those freaking characters. All those teams, I loved it all. So, and it is when this Deadpool came out, I did my homework on the character, and I was like, holy crap. Yes, they did this right. they did this so freaking right. I mean, they created the perfect origin story. It had the right tone. It had the right cast. It had the right villain, Francis, aka Ajax. Say my name, okay, Francis. I mean, let's dig into in terms of the first movie. Let's dig into this cast. I mean, obviously, you got Ryan Reynolds. The cast, some of your favorite characters, some of your favorite performances. Alicia, Jack, your thoughts, please.
I think like his roommate's one of my favorites that he moves into after Vanessa's death and everything. I mean, I like her a lot because she reminds me of Nichelle Nichols a little bit because of her feisty. She reminds me of the Oracle from the Matrix movies as well. She's got that sass and spunk. I also like Vanessa. Vanessa's a really cool character. I mean, she's not your typical like, oh, save me, Deadpool, but she's like, oh, you saved me. Well, what took you so long, basically? But I mean, she's a really cool character. Gina Carano. It's nice to see her in something besides Mandalorian. It's really good to see her in that. And also, Deadpool himself, honestly. He's wisecracking. He's not a superhero per se, but he's definitely an anti-superhero type. Saying, oh I want to be...
Go ahead, Alicia, please.
Like I said, he's an anti-superhero type. Basically, he's just like, okay, I want to be a hero, but I also don't want the recognition. I just want to just have an ordinary life. I want to be cured from this cancer. But I don't like this curse that's been bestowed upon me in the long run, too.
Then he wants to kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she pretty much said all the names I was going to say. I will say Colossus. I love Colossus in both of those movies.
Yeah, same here. I mean, Colossus in both these movies, played by Stefan Kopek, I think is his name. At least that's the guy who did the voice of Colossus. I know he was partially a CGI character. Obviously, He was a CGI character, and you got Brianna Hildebrand as Negasonic, Teenage Warhead. Oh my gosh, those two alone. I mean, she had such great timing with Reynolds, and the back and forth between all of them, especially when he goes to the X Mansion the first time in the first movie. And he's like, "Oh, you're one of those moody teenagers who covers up her pain and her heartache with snarky comments." He's like, "Ow, you hurt me," and he's like, at the same time, "I hate you." And she's like, "Geez, you're old." He's like, "Oh well, it's Ripley from Alien 3." And she's like, "Geez, you're old."
Yes, because of his references. It's like updates.
Yeah, I mean, and the scene where Wade and Vanessa meet for the first time, and they're talking about their dark backstories. You know, they're making all this up, and he's like, "It was nothing but ball gags and chocolate pudding."
And they get along very quickly.
They do.
They do. They really do. And the whole montage of them screwing.
I love my calendar girl.
Except on Lent. They don't screw during Lent, but during International Women's Day, he's like, be gentle. Because she's got the strap on. She's getting ready to...
Yes.
I'm like, jeez. They really went there with this. I mean, I don't know if she actually penetrated him, but still, jeez.
Yes.
I mean,
what's cool?
Go ahead, Lisa.
No, I was going to just say that headquarters, believe it or not, were the X-Men so-called headquarters. That's actually, I remember seeing it, I looked at it and said, wait a minute, that's the same mansion that they used in Smallville as the Luthor Mansion. I was like, that's nice to see in another scene.
Yeah, I mean, and in both movies, he makes the comment, Jesus, place is so huge, and yet there's only the two of you here at any given time, of course, and we can bounce between movies or anything. In the second movie, they do have a cameo where the rest of the cast is off in a side room, and I think
Yes.
Beast closes the
For one
sliding
scene,
door.
for 1 second, yeah, 2 seconds. something
They're like,
that.
nope.
You had-
Close it right back
Yeah,
up.
you had McAvoy, you had Beast from the reboot trilogy. You had, I think you had Famke Jensen, maybe, or if it wasn't her, it was Sophie Grace and the other guy who played Cyclops. Maybe but I remember McAvoy and I remember Beast from the reboot trilogy, for sure.
Hmm.
Of course, we don't count Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix doesn't exist. That's a
I've never even
bad-
seen that.
Oh dear, dude, don't. Just don't.
Fair enough.
Don't. If you want a synopsis, watch my review of the. I did an upload of how they screwed the Dark Phoenix saga twice with X-Men Last Stand and Dark Phoenix. Just watch that. You'll learn
Okay.
everything you want to know and how bad those movies are.
Okay, yeah, I think I saw a few of those videos, and that's all I needed to know.
Yeah, really. But with Deadpool, the thing I love about this is it is a comic book movie, it is a superhero movie, but it doesn't break the mold. It shatters the mold into a million pieces and then regenerates itself into something strangely glorious, but at the same time somewhat uncomfortable. Because let's be honest, some of the humor is very, very at times dark and a little bit off kilter. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely edgy.
Let me ask the two of you. Who of all the characters in the first movie that Wade interacts with, whose banter did you like him best with? I mean, was it Vanessa? Was it with the guy who ran the bar? Was it with Negasonic?
I would say Cyclops. Oh, not Cyclops.
You mean Colossus?
Colossus. Colossus.
I would say either Vanessa or the cab driver. That is absolutely hilarious.
Dopinder. Dopinder. Oh my gosh. Dopinder is the stereotypical Indonesian or Indian cab driver, but at the same time, where you would think it would be offensive, at the same time, it's hysterical.
Yes, it is. Because he has a guy locked into his trunk.
Yeah.
And he wants to get into the business.
Yeah, in the second
wants to
movie,
be a
he's like, he wants to be a mercenary. He wants to be a soldier of fortune, or whatever way you want to call it. He's like, I have gotten a taste for blood now after killing what's his face? Like, he's like, I have tasted human blood and now I want more of it. And we're thinking, these are things that shouldn't be coming out of your mouth. You are 5 foot nothing. You weigh 90 pounds. You couldn't kill a flea.
The flea will be killing you.
Yeah, really. Especially if it's a giant mutated flea.
Right.
I think one of the bright spots, I mean, the first movie is nothing but a bright spot, but one of the real bright spots is obviously Ed Sheeran as Ajax, or as we all come to know him, Francis. Great villain for this movie, plays off well. I think a really good, solid adaptation of the original character. I am kind of glad that they removed Dr. Kilbrew and they just had it as Ajax and Angel and Agent Smith, or the knockoff Agent Smith.
Right.
So
yeah.
In terms of the plot for the first movie, what did you all think? Did it flow well? I mean, I know it's kind of a disjointed story in terms of how they progress the narrative, but was that a plus? Was that a minus? What'd you all think?
I mean, I think it worked. The idea, I think the idea was that leaked footage was probably not going to be the very first scene, but then it turned into the first scene when it became the leaked footage. And then they had to find a way to go back to the start and then go all the way back to where they were at that scene, which is I think what they did. So I mean, pacing wise, I think they did a good job. It didn't feel like it was lagging. It didn't feel like the plot was dragging. I didn't feel like looking at my watch or anything like that. So I don't have an issue with the pacing of either shows, either movies, even if they're 2.5 hours long.
Well, the first one, if I remember correctly, was just a shade under 2 hours, and so was the first one. It was just a shade under 2 hours as well, roughly. So, and that for me, I mean, the fact that they kept I mean, this cast just on its own, they carry the movie extremely well. It's not overburdened with a whole lot of origin and so on. They just want to get the story out there and get on with the fun of it. That's the objective here. I mean, this isn't a heavy, deep. This is Deadpool. He's a smartass. He's a wise ass. He's a wisecracker. He's a guy who isn't afraid to kill, and he doesn't care crossing that line. That's the gist of the character. He's a parody, essentially, the anti-hero, because the anti-hero more often than not is willing to kill, whereas the normal vanilla hero won't, unless pushed to the extreme. He's like, screw it. I don't care if I don't have a consistent villain. I want this sucker dead. He ruined my life.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I always call that the anti-hero, or where it's you're seeing your protagonist is not exactly a good guy. Yeah, it's he's got a shady side, he's got a darker side, he'll kill people or something like that. But at the same time, he makes up for it by being hilarious.
And in spades, especially
Yes.
with I mean, you couldn't ask for a better casting. I mean, we saw glimpses of Deadpool in X-Men Origins, but we didn't see him in his full glory. I mean, he finally gets the costume. He meets Blind Al in the laundromat, and she's like, lemon juice gets blood out, or start wearing red. And then he creates, of course, the iconic red suit. And
Yes.
I love Blind Al so much. She's like, man, I miss cocaine.
Yeah, she's a good character. I'm glad they brought her back for the third one.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
And I'm glad they talk about cocaine in the third one too, despite it being a Disney thing.
Leslie Uggams is the actress's name, plays Blind Al. She was just a delight and everything. I mean, she's like, do you have just a really small hand, because she is blind? And he's like, yes. It is the CGI for this movie, especially when it involves him regenerating his body parts.
Oh, geez.
Especially in the second movie, where you actually do get a brief look at a CGI Johnson. And I don't mean Dwayne. But
The Rock is going to leave you hanging.
I mean, the whole idea of Deadpool being an official member of the X-Men, especially as straight-laced as they are, especially with Colossus, and you're trying to envision him working with the rest of the X-Men, and he'd be like, you're thinking, yeah, Colossus or Cyclops. Dang it, Jack, that's all your fault. Cyclops would be blasting his head off every 5 seconds. Well, you know what I think, guys? Shut up, Wade.
I could see that.
Storm throwing some snowflakes. I'm like, shh, let's freeze you out a little.
Or Storm, yes, Storm and everything turns him into an ice cube, and he's like,
that should chill you out.
And then he unthaws a few minutes later, and he's like, "Geez, Storm, why don't you just penetrate me with an icicle?"
That's one way to keep me in the freeze box, but I didn't want to be in the freeze box.
Ice, yeah. Something else we have to touch upon: the soundtrack for the first movie. We'll talk about the second movie as well, but especially the first movie.
So good.
You think DMX got a major boost in plays or anything? X going to give it to you for the trailer or Salt and Pepper?
Probably.
Shoop.
Probably. Yeah, because I'm trying to remember when he passed away, and I don't know how. But
Let's see.
well, let's see. The first Deadpool came out in 2016. Let me look up when DMX passed away. Hold on. DMX death date. DMX actually passed away in 2021.
okay,
He was 50.
okay, that was like 3 years later.
Yeah, well, 4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Well, no. Yeah, well, no. Let's see. 16 to 21 would be 5 years.
Okay.
If I'm doing my math right.
Okay. Yeah. Math is something I'm not good at.
So
Nope, that's my kryptonite.
it's okay. That's okay. We still love you.
Good.
And then of course you got T.J. Miller as Weasel, the runner, of oh, for heaven's sakes, St. Margaret's Home for Wayward Girls, I think is what the name of the bar is.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Let's see. Hang on. I'll look it up. Name of bar in Deadpool. Here we go. Yeah, Sister Margaret's School for Wayward Girls.
Okay.
What a name for
So
a
I wasn't
bar.
far off.
I know. Yeah. What a name.
Well, if you remember the plaque on the outside of the bar, which you actually see in the second movie, that actually is the name of the building. But they converted it into a bar.
Yes. That's the twisted
great.
humor of that.
Yeah, no kidding. But
Yeah. We once had a bar called the Library. That might happen to them too.
Oh my god. Oh man.
I could a bar called the Library.
So that when you go, honey, I'm off to the library.
And instead of calling the bartenders, you call them librarians or boozerians.
Yeah, you'd be checking out books there.
Yeah, my librarian was rude. He cut me off after
But-
only 3 books.
My card expired. They need to run it through the barcode again.
And I mean, okay, one of the scenes between Deadpool and Weasel, he's like he takes off he pulls down his hood on his hoodie, and he's like, "Oh my God, you are like haunting. You look like a topographical map of Utah. You look like an avocado that's had sex with an older, nasty avocado."
I've driven through Utah, and that's pretty accurate.
Well, you gotta admit the makeup that they did for Reynolds was actually really good. It wasn't overplayed. It was pretty. It was actually, from what I've seen of Deadpool in the comics, it's pretty accurate to what they've done, what they did in the comics for him for the movies. So,
Right.
let's talk about the love story, the very unconventional love story between Wade and Vanessa. Guys, your thoughts on that.
I
I
loved
mean,
it. I hated it when they killed him when they killed her off in the second one.
right. I mean, it's not your typical love story for him to fall in love with a stripper, for her to say, "Oh, I'm going to settle down, begin the homemaker type of life." But it works for them. Any other couple, I don't think it would work in real life, realistically. But for
Well,
Vanessa
I
and
don't think.
Wade, sure.
No, go ahead. Listen. Go ahead. Okay.
So basically, like I said, their love story, it works for them. Wade and Vanessa's relationship is very uniquely to them, but I'm not going to judge as long as he's happy, and you can tell he really, really wants to stay with her, and he's a little bit more sentimental than you realize, especially when he keeps like that little token that helps save her. So,
The to jump to the second part, the whole barrier where every
Yeah.
like every time he quote unquote dies per se, he goes to this room with Vanessa, and there's this barrier that's separating them, and he can't get through until his heart is in the right place.
Hmm.
And when it finally happens, and he has that moment, and they go into the "Take on Me," not just the song, but they kind of recreate the music video in a bit in a way.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
so well done. It's so
Oh
well
yeah.
done, and it's very much. It's like even if you don't really get the relationship, that gets to you.
Well, and the other interesting thing is when they first meet, he's like, "What can this amount of money and a gift card get me?" And she's like, "45 minutes of whatever you want."
And they went and played skee ball.
They went and played, yeah. And in the second movie, what does he give her for their anniversary gift? A skee
the
ball
ski
token.
ball
The skee
token.
ball. Yes.
And amazingly, that comes back to save his life because what does Cable do? Shoves it right over the place where he gets shot.
Yep.
And the thing you have to realize is these movies are not just one genre per se because they are a comedy, they're an action comedy, they're a romance comedy, they're a superhero movie, they're all these things, and yet it balances out perfectly. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that because honestly, it should not work. A character like this, it should not work, and yet it does. So, um, the action sequences. I mean, obviously, we've got the first one.
Big
What did you
booms.
two think of the actions?
They went well. I mean, a lot happens in them. The fighting. It's
The
very.
the big boom. I love the very beginning where he's only got a limited amount of bullets, and
Well,
he
bullets
counts each one. Yeah, he counts each one, and he manages to get everyone he needs to get,
minus Francis, but he gets
minus
Francis too.
Francis.
But thanks to Colossus and Negasonic, Francis gets away. And what ends up happening, he breaks both his hands and his legs, and Colossus has to carry him back to the X Mansion until he regenerates.
Like a backpack.
Yes, it looks so weird.
And
Yes,
then they do the same thing in Deadpool 2, but it's Domino this time because he loses his legs.
because her, she's lucky. That's why. That's all.
Yeah. And he's like, "There's no way they can make this look cinematic whatsoever." And there's a whole montage of her power just working, and it works so well. I mean, and Jack, I mean, we've all mentioned the fourth wall break when he finally gets taken to the experimentation site. I can't remember if they had a name for it specifically, but he's like, "Make sure the super suit isn't CGI or isn't green or CGI." Reference to the Green Lantern,
Hmm.
which Here's the crazy thing. I didn't dislike Green Lantern. I actually thought it was really good. I mean, I enjoyed it, but apparently I was one of the few. So
I never watched it myself.
it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's not as horrible as everybody says. But that's another subject for another time. Of course, he erases that from the timeline too when he goes back in time and he shoots Ryan Reynolds. He's like, "You're welcome, Canada."
Yes, he does. Yes, that was fun. That whole timeline sequence at the end was very fun.
Yeah, Deadpool too. Yeah.
There's a deleted scene, I guess, or an extended scene, whatever you want to call it, where he goes to where baby Hitler is, and he's gonna kill off baby Hitler, but he can't do it because it's a baby, so he ends up changing his diaper instead and then taking off.
Yes, it was hilarious.
Oh dear heavens! I didn't get a chance to watch all the deleted scenes or extended scenes for these two and everything. I'm gonna have to after we're done here, but it's the age-old question: could you kill Hitler as a baby?
I mean, it's a question of whether or not you can kill a baby.
I mean, they try to in the modern Twilight Zone thing, but no.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some kind of iteration of Hitler somewhere, even if it's not by that name, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like a fixed point in history or whatever, the way they want to put it.
Right, exactly.
I think the other comical thing about the first Deadpool is he is one of the few heroes or anti-heroes that will crack wise with his arch nemesis, or wherever the case may be. In this case, it's Ajax. And the fight choreography for the end fight, where he's using two katanas and Ajax is using a pair of fire axes, essentially. Holy crap! And they use the oxygen deprivation tank, or they tried to use that tank that they used on him and Vanessa, and he accidentally throws one of his katanas at the tank, and Vanessa's smart enough to get herself out of there. And then what's his way of getting her to safety? In the damn oxygen deprivation tank.
Right.
Yes.
All right, and let me ask you two something, and correct me if I'm wrong. They were fighting on a decommissioned helicarrier, were they not? Or was I wrong?
I think so.
Sounds about right.
I think they were.
Because that's what it looked like to me. It looked like a decommissioned helicarrier from one of the other Marvel movies or whatever. Because the bridge looked right, the deck looked right, and the fact they had engines on the side, I'm thinking, is that the first time I saw that? I was like, "Is that a decommissioned helicarrier?"
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ending. I mean, where he rescues Vanessa, he's killed Ajax, and she's like, "I want to see your face," and then he pulls off the mask, or I think she takes off the mask at the other end.
Yeah, the little paper one.
The paper one of Hugh Jackman.
Yes, it's Wolverine first.
And she doesn't care what he looks like.
No.
She loves him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. She does.
Now, of course, she's pissed as all hell because she's like, "Where the hell have you been?" She's like, "I was worried sick about you. You just disappeared and left me. And then this psycho kidnaps me and almost tries to kill me, and now you show up?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell?
She loves and hates him at that moment, basically.
Yeah. She's like, "I love you. You saved my life. I hate you because you disappeared."
Right?
Yeah.
I love
And you went and did a bunch of dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
You got yourself turned into a walking tumor.
Basically.
So, Any other thoughts on Deadpool 1, or do y'all want to go ahead and move on to Deadpool 2? I mean, we can come back to Deadpool 1 if y'all want to. I don't care. I mean,
I,
this is kind of
I,
free flow.
I like the idea of Colossus just having so much Star Trek like hope in him that he thinks he can turn Deadpool into an X-Men. I love his optimism.
And his character, to a degree, is very much like that in the comics. So I do like the way they played Colossus. That is for sure.
Mhm.
I mean, Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I love her character, and I don't even, okay, she has a girlfriend in the second movie. So what? I don't care. It's a fictional character. I don't give a rat's ass in hell. She's happy. Okay, fine. You're happy. It's a fictional
Sure.
character. I don't care
Right.
if she's gay.
Mm-hmm.
She seems happy. Yukio seems happy. Who cares?
Hmm. Who,
They don't shove
who
it in
did
your
she,
face.
who did she remind you of? It was
Jubilee.
Chi.
oh, Cheat. No, that's so there's a very old Japanese anime called Chobits that we've been watching, and she thinks that character looks like the one of the characters in that cartoon.
Well, she sounds like her. She doesn't look like her. She just sounds like her.
Oh,
The way she says it.
so yeah.
I'm trying to look up the Sholi Kuts Kusana. I hope I
Mm.
didn't butcher that young lady's name. She plays Yukio in Deadpool 2.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you've got ZZ Beats as Domino. You've got. Wait a minute. Okay, have I gone into the upside down? Julie, Julian Dennis
Hmm.
played Russell. In the picture on his IMDb, he looks a little bit like a woman. I could be wrong.
Interesting.
Regardless, anyway, I don't care.
Okay.
But anyway, Deadpool 2. They. You know what? I'm gonna let you guys open up and everything. Deadpool 2, guys, your thoughts.
That-
Where do you want to start with this one?
That intro where, I mean, yeah, they start off with the, they're gonna have a baby, and then the fight scene, she gets killed off, and then suddenly you got this Bond opening.
Yes.
I loved it. I wish they had one in the first one. I hope they have one in the last one. I know, like you said, they don't. They usually don't do gags twice, but that one I wouldn't mind. Um, the idea after that of, oh well, like now I just want to be dead, but I can't die because I got these powers, and then he has his vision, and then suddenly he has his quest, and he's trying to find a way to like put his heart in the right place, and he finds it in this kid who's really troubled, who's really angry, and has these fiery powers.
Fire Fist, aka Russell. Yeah.
Fighters. And this turns into a whole time thing where in the future he goes and kills off Cable's family, so Cable comes back in time. Kind of like the Hitler thing. He goes back in time to kill the kid.
Russell.
Yes, Russell. And so Deadpool, his whole task is to change Cable's mind about him, and show him that the kid does have a chance. The kid doesn't have to slaughter anyone's family. He just needs to, we just need to get to him before he has his first taste of blood or whatever. As if he's a vampire.
Yeah.
Was he?
Well, they even reference Oh, no, it's Joe Pender who references Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst.
Yes.
Yes, he keeps saying Kirsten Dunst, Kirsten Dunst. I'm like, oh my goodness, wow. We had to look that up. But yeah, I mean, it's bittersweet to see him lose Vanessa. And it's like, oh
It
no,
is.
you had so much going for you, but then you see him trying to reach her to let her know, why can't I reach you? Why can't I reach you? And then when he finally reaches her, she says, it's not time for you. It's not time for you. It's not time for you to leave here. And then he finally says, you know what? Once Cable gives him that second chance, like, I'm going to fix all of this then. I'm going to just say, nope, 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 nope. I'm going to fix all of this garbage.
And they fix his Cable's time thing,
Yeah.
and so Deadpool's able to do whatever he wants, and so he goes back in time and he saves her from getting killed.
Mhm.
And so a lot of people who are talking in the background, actually just myself, believe that stopping Vanessa's death could be a nexus point in that universe. And if that's the
And
case, he might have just doomed his own universe, and that might be the plot of the next movie.
Well, and that's kind of the impression that I get just from the trailer. Obviously, they're going to have the TVA involved. We don't know what iteration of the TVA this is going to be, if it's going to be post-Kang, although they've kind of steered away from Kang entirely from what I understand for, well, obvious reasons. I mean,
Loki made
obviously-
everything into a tree now, so
Yeah, Loki, yeah. I didn't get a chance to see Loki season 2. I really wanted to. I didn't have the time. We don't have a subscription to Disney Plus, but considering the drivel that's been coming out of there lately, I honestly don't know if I want to.
You don't want to see it. We saw it. We don't recommend it.
no.
Was it that bad?
It was.
Oh, dang it.
Not even Owen Wilson could save it.
Or the retro McDonald's from the 80s either.
That not even Crocodile Loki.
That's
Oh,
true.
for heaven's sakes. Man, that's really, I don't know why, that's kind of sad.
It is.
Because
Yeah.
I love Tom Holland. I loved season 1. Season 1 was awesome. I loved Sylvie. I loved all of that.
Sylvie's not a bad character, but they don't really have anything. She doesn't do anything in the second season. Like
Except for Trout from the McDonald's 80s era.
She works in like an '80s McDonald's from the '80s, and that's
That's pretty much it.
yeah. I mean, it was cool to see an '80s McDonald's because nostalgia, but otherwise, it didn't do anything for the story.
No, exactly. It's just lame.
Yeah. That makes me sad. But anyway, what doesn't make me sad is is a Deadpool 2. I mean,
Yes.
you've got Josh Brolin coming off his performance as Thanos in Infinity War, and now he's playing another badass in Cable. And man, I hope we see him again in something, because Josh Brolin does Cable. I didn't know I needed this. I mean, I love the character of Cable. I've always loved the character of Cable. I loved his backstory, who his parents are. Obviously, Madeline Pryor, aka Jean Grey, and obviously Scott Summers and everything, his connections with Apocalypse and all that stuff. I love that. I love his whole backstory and so on. And they could not have picked a better actor to play him. Josh Brolin nailed it as Cable.
Yes,
Really
he did.
did.
Yes.
And I love the fact that you don't learn too much about his backstory except for the fact that he has a family. Now, obviously, Cable does have a family in the comics, except it's a wife and a son rather than a wife and a daughter, but that change doesn't necessarily bother me in terms of his lore, because most people aren't going to be super familiar with Cable's lore unless you really do deep dive on the character himself. So that's one thing entirely.
Right. But yeah, for Cable, one of the things I loved about Josh Brolin's Cable is after his performance as Thanos, you can hear Thanos in his voice. And so anytime he says something, R-rated, like I just picture Thanos saying it. I should have brought up. I have a Thanos too. I should have brought out my Thanos.
Oh yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, Jack. We'll forgive you. Obviously, I think them having an iteration of X Force and it being specifically Cable, Deadpool, and Domino was a great move for this movie. Obviously, they had a different iteration of X Force, and well, except for Domino, they all get killed because of a wind advisory. A wind advisory. They're in a Chinook helicopter, and they're like, "You really think parachuting is the best idea? There is a wind advisory." And he's like, "Everybody, just shut up. This is the plan we're going with. Deal with it." And then later on, he's like, Maybe we shouldn't have gone with this plan, especially since it was written out in crayon."
What was that normal dude's name? Bob or whatever. Like
Peter.
or Peter.
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 That was so funny. Walk away! Walk away!
Get away out of there! Get out of there! Are you sure? Get out of there!
You're not gonna be able to do anything. You're just gonna die. Just leave. You're okay, Sugar Bear. Just go home. Go home. You're good. You're good. And the whole recruiting montage. Okay, I'm gonna say it reminds me of another recruitment montage from another comedic superhero movie called Mystery Man. If either one of you remember that one.
I don't think I've seen that one. Have you?
Not sure.
Jack Lee. Okay, let me give you a rundown of the cast. Ben Stiller, William H. Macy, Hank Azaria,
Okay.
Janine Garofalo. The villain is played by Jeffrey Rush, and the villain's name is Casanova Frankenstein. Greg Kinnear has a cameo appearance. He has like 2 or 3 scenes in the movie. It's based on a 90s comic book by the same name called Mystery Man. I actually did a review of it a couple of years ago. You both should watch that movie sometime. It is a hysterical, absolutely hysterical superhero comedy before superhero comedies were a thing. The cast is awesome just on itself. The writing is really sharp. Unfortunately, it didn't. The sad thing is, it's one of those movies that didn't do well at the box office, which makes me sad again because I went and saw it in theaters back in. It came out in '99.
Okay.
And Eddie Izzard plays one of the henchmen to Jeffrey Rush's character, Casanova Frankenstein. But the recruitment scene in that movie, it reminds me somewhat. Granted, it's a little bit lengthier than it is in Deadpool 2, but the Deadpool 2 recruitment scene where they got Terry Crews as Bedlam, where he can disrupt electrical fields even in your brain. You've got a guy who spits acidic acid, kind of like Toad, but they call him Zeitgeist instead. You've got Shatterstar, who slightly buried everything that you can do, and ergo what Wade can do. Except all he does is fly into some helicopter blades and get splattered into green slime. And
He
I want to give
it better than you did.
yeah. And I want to give a very warm welcome to another regular of the channel, Mr. Ferris of Ferris Geeks World. Ferris, my friend, good to see you, bud. It's been a while.
Hey, Ambassador. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hello.
Ferris, I think you know Alicia and Jack. Jack and Alicia, I don't know. Well, you all have seen each other on here before. So, anyway, Ferris, you obviously know the topic. So we're talking about Deadpool 2 right now. But if there's anything about Deadpool 1 that you want to backtrack on, obviously we can. So.
Well, obviously, I gotta start with like before watching Deadpool, of course, I obviously love Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson in the first Wolverine movie, even though he was in it for like what 3-5 minutes, but he still gives a solid performance though. Like even though he already played like Hannibal King and Blade Trinity, but which honestly I'm not really a fan of Blade Trinity, but I think the character of Hannibal King is like far better than just Ryan Reynolds' performance. I know they're trying to give like a twist for the movie itself, but like even after Blade Trinity, like even I heard that he was gonna be playing Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I still think he's still gonna kill it, and he did kill it. Like until like Fox really screwed him over and becoming a rejected Mortal Kombat character. So
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah, like that was such a slap in the face. Like until like even in Green Lantern, and I'll be honest though, even though Green Lantern was trying to be about something, but it just went up to become a disaster. I mean, it didn't do really well, but
Yeah.
thankfully, like yeah, thankfully, he was given the chance to shine in his own in his own movie, which is Deadpool, which he also produced. I mean,
Hmm.
he produced all of them. I mean, all three from from the first and now to the upcoming Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, he still have the chance to produce it. He really puts his heart and passion towards the character, and I'm really glad he really did shine. But I got a question for you guys. Like, which one of you guys like remember the leaked footage like before the movie was even got into production? I think it was around like 2013, 2014, somewhere around then. Did you guys ever like see the leaked footage before it went into production?
I remember seeing it, and I was a little like this. Yeah, this is Ryan Reynolds. This is interesting. This one of the things I remember saying to myself was, "This is better than this is better than the the last time they tried to do Deadpool." So that's what I was.
I,
So I was hopeful.
I do remember
Anyone else?
seeing it. I didn't see the leaked footage until after the first Deadpool had come out, or at least it was announced. So, um, that for me was the anything. I saw it, but I saw it after the fact, not beforehand. So, um, I love
Yeah. So
the leaked footage. I love the whole premise of that. So that for me wasn't anywhere near remotely an issue. Um,
The fact that they got the
right?
look right.
Yeah, especially that. I mean, they worked so hard on this test footage, which was like what 5 or 6 minutes worth of the scene or whatever, and then they really amped it up for the first movie, obviously, and you have people getting splattered against traffic signs, and it's on a it's on an not it's on a high capacity a highway and so on. Yeah, the that absolutely, I was sold on the movie, the first movie with just the trailer, but then seeing what they did, how far they went to try and get this movie off the ground after what they did with the character of Deadpool. Like I mentioned before you got in here, Ferris, I was familiar with Deadpool, but I wasn't like a big fan of the character. I didn't dislike him, but it just was a character that wasn't on my radar per se. But I guess I've kind of been on the bandwagon for the character because, well, I like Ryan Reynolds. He's a good actor. I did like him as Hannibal King in Blade Trinity. I know the movie has issues. The same with Green Lantern. I liked him in that as well. He's done other movies as well. He's made other cameos in other movies, some that I own and so on. I loved him in the movie Waiting, um, which is about a restaurant and a waiting staff. Which, well, I used to be a waiter once upon a time, so I love that movie. I mean, him and Van Wilder. I liked Van Wilder as well. So Ryan Reynolds has always been an actor that I had a lot that I appreciated. I enjoyed his work, and for him to find to get a home in a franchise that he loves and a character that he loves is nothing but a win for me. So, um, I hope that answers your question in a very long-winded way.
yeah, so anyways, like I knew like after the leaked footage, like the movie would get into production, and
Mhm.
thankfully the entire movie was has no connection to his previous to his previous appearance,
Iterations
which
and yeah,
yeah, exactly. Like, thankfully, like the movie was entirely new, no connection to the his previous appearance. until like the second movie, kind of like breaking the fourth
Yeah.
wall until he shot people.
Undoing all that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which we were
like
actually getting into,
the
but
part
that's
he
okay.
cleaned up the timeline. Yeah, the part where he said, "I'm just cleaning up the timeline." So yeah, that was just really clever, and I really love the fact like the first movie was trying to be about like it's trying to be about everything from action to comedy to romance. Like you said, it really balances out everything. So yeah, and it did well, and it did well. It made a lot of money, like for an R-rated superhero movie. And so, of
Mhm.
course, like I would be pumped for the sequel, which is Deadpool 2. So yeah, I mean, Deadpool 2, like like the previous movie, it really balances out everything. Like, of course, there's gonna be like a death scene, and of course, there's gonna be a like team up or maybe referencing to other superheroes at the time. And I still can't get over the fact that Deadpool literally references Batman twice. Like from the first movie, it's referring to Blind Al, and then the second movie, which Ryan Reynolds does his Michael Keaton impression saying, "I'm Batman."
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought which is kind of funny because the fact that the '60s Batman show was once owned by Fox at the time before it became a Warner Brothers property. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys heard of that story before or that history.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was
Hmm.
aware. So.
Yeah, definitely.
So.
But so far, one thing I did enjoy, like, sorry, one thing that really made me enjoy this movie. Have you guys like talk about the soundtracks of the movie, like from the first and the second one?
A little bit, but we can dig into that some more now and everything. So that's fine.
Yeah, so please do so because I really love like the soundtrack from the first movie. I mean, from the opening, from the opening, it's really like the first movie's opening was really like very comedic, like the way they shot it. But the second one was very much like James Bond parody. Like they have Celine Dion doing the soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ma'am
that movie
Ambassador
Canada.
mentioned. Sorry, didn't mean to talk over your Ferris. Yeah, Ma'am Ambassador mentioned to me. She's like, there's Celine Dion song in there. I was like, oh no. She's like,
But
I
it
know how much you
works.
love. Yeah, it does work, and that's the crazy thing about it. I mean, as much as I don't care for Celine Dion, the song does work. The whole James Bond esque intro does work. So, um, Alicia, Jack, what are some of the standouts from either one of the soundtracks for the two of you?
I would say Air Supply is one of them that stands out for me. I mean, I grew up with 80s and 90s music, and I absolutely love Air Supply, but it absolutely works for this film. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one that really stands out because I started looking through it, the soundtrack. I said, "Oh wait, I remember this song. I remember that song." And I started adding them to my Spotify immediately after the movie.
It's almost like this. It's almost like the Deadpool movies and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies had the best
Yes,
soundtracks
and Back to the Future.
amongst. Yeah, that too. But
The
in
first
terms of
one was
superhero
very hip
movies,
hop, I gotta say.
say again, Ferris.
The first one was very hip hopish because you got DMX in
Hmm.
it and also Salt
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Pepper.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's true. Yeah, very true. Um, I would have to say for the second movie, it has to be "Take on Me" and okay, y'all are gonna find this extremely hilarious. You may find this extremely odd, but the symphonic piece that they did for the Juggernaut.
Oh yes. Holy shit!
Oh,
It's the Canada. Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!
that would actually work.
Holy shit! Oh, such a
Yes,
I agree.
Jack was
Both.
singing that for days afterwards after we watched
I
I
mean,
swear
it.
I haven't heard. I swear I didn't even aware of the lyrics like when they played that song until one of the credits. Like, oh my god, they really put a lyric for Juggernaut. Like, wow.
let me see if Juggernaut song Oh wait a minute. There it is. Juggernaut. There it is. Let me see if I can look up the lyrics. It's also known as "You Can't Stop This Mother Effer." Hang on.
That's great.
Hang on. I think I found the lyrics.
This ought to be good.
Well, I'm not gonna sing it. I'll just read it. Okay, here's the lyrics. Fighting dirty, 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 fighting dirty. Go away. That's not one of the lyrics. You can't stop him. He's the juggernaut. You can't stop this mother effer. Holy shit balls. 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 Holy shit.
That's great.
But they kick it in right when they're in the convoy truck.
Yes.
It's like a convoy music. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, really, it really was.
Speaking of which, what do you guys think when the
I have
convoy truck? Sorry, what do you guys think when the part when the convoy truck falls down and they play what's that called? Etna, what's her name again? What's the singer name?
And yeah,
Yeah, Enya. Sorry, Enya's
yeah,
Enya's song.
yeah,
I thought
and
that
yeah.
was like hilarious when they all fall down and Enya's song
Oh
playing
my
in the
gosh.
background until until it ends with the comedic timing of Deadpool putting his ass on cable.
Yeah, because this guy's about to have a really bad time because I'm about to teabag him.
yes.
Have you guys like talk about like the way they changed Colossus and Juggernaut like in these movies? Like I really want to point that out.
We've talked a little bit about Colossus and everything, but we haven't talked too much about the fight between Juggernaut and Colossus. So we can jump into that. Honestly, that's fine. I'm completely fine with that. So Alicia Jack, Colossus, and
Yeah.
Juggernaut, their
Yeah.
whole dynamic and their whole
Here
fight.
comes what was that? Here comes a big ass expensive CG fight.
Fight scene. Yeah.
I
Fight
hope
scene.
I hope they got that slow mo.
I hope they got. Well,
Yes.
that was actually when
But-
Deadpool gets shot by Cable when he's trying to save Russell. But yeah, I got
Yeah.
you.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and then he just fights. Colossus just fights dirty. Something he has never done, yet. And so he's fighting dirty and he wins, and he's able to beat the Juggernaut.
Yeah, with the help of Yukio and Negasonic,
Yes,
he's like, "That's how we take out juggernauts in Russia."
basically, it was good. It was,
You
it
tie
was
his
a-
feet and then you shove an electrical cable right up his ass
Yes,
and throw him into a pool.
yes.
He's
Well,
like,
I
"I'm
do like to
doing it."
point out
Yeah, go ahead, Ferris.
sorry. Yeah, I do like to point out something like whenever like Ryan Reynolds was like trying to touch like characters that wasn't doing right like in the previous like X-Men movies, he would turn them into a comic accurate like accurate like he would turn it accurate like in the comics. Like
Right.
for example, like Colossus like didn't have a Russian accent like in the X-Men movies, but until Deadpool. And Juggernaut was not, Juggernaut was not even Juggernaut. I mean, I get the fact that he was like adapted straight from the Ultimate X-Men comic
Mhm.
because in the Ultimate Marvel universe he was a mutant. But
Mm.
we all know that the first iteration of Juggernaut was never a mutant because he got his powers from he got his powers from the ruby.
Right.
That ruby that would turn him big, of course, like
This
Hulk
the crimson ruby of Sidorak. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that part. So now, so when Deadpool 2 happens, so we get to see Juggernaut. Like, okay, now that's the Juggernaut that
Right.
Yeah,
grew in, yeah
not that ass hat in X-Men: The Last Stand.
last time.
The, one-
Okay.
the one that they
yeah.
actually said the line, the meme who goes, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch."
Yeah, but I'll admit for one thing, like the casting of Vinnie Jones as Juggernaut, I thought that was okay, but the way they
It was
handled the character was just
yeah.
I
no.
Now
agree.
the thing that now the thing that I did like is when him and Russell are talking before they get into the orphanage. And he's talking about his brother who's a cripple, and he's like, "So you wear the helmet so your brother, your half brother can't read your mind." He's like, "Yeah, pretty much." But he's like, "It all equals out in the end because he's in a wheelchair." So like, oh, so they are actually going to reference that him and Xavier are brothers or half brothers.
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't even do that in the last stand. He just walks past by Juggernaut and is like, no,
Hmm.
like, hello, brother, hello, step brother, like anything, like, hello, come on, man, it's your brother. Like, that was disappointing thing about the last stand when I watched in theaters.
Everything was disappointing about the last stand. What are you talking about, Ferris?
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely like this newer version of Juggernaut, where it's like instead of that I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, it's more of the I'm going to shove the red guy inside the old guy.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, Juggernaut in this movie is an absolute beast. And that's what Juggernaut is supposed to be. An
Mm.
absolute mother freaking beast. I wonder if I can find who played him because I really want to know this. I've got the
Mhm.
credits up
You
here.
want to know who played that? It's actually Ryan Reynolds.
What?
Really, it's Ryan Reynolds. Really, it's
What?
Ryan Reynolds
Wow.
who. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Ryan Reynolds who voiced that character. He just like deepens his voice. Like I
Whoa.
was so shocked. Like
I
Holy
really,
agree.
that was
crap, you're
him.
right.
Wow. I
Yeah,
was not.
That's impressive.
That
with
shows
David Lick
talent.
provide. Yeah. Here it is. Ryan Reynolds played Wade Wilson, Deadpool, and voiced the Juggernaut with digital modulation to make the voice deeper. Reynolds also provided motion capture for the character, with director David Lick providing facial capture.
Wow.
Son of a gun.
Way to go,
Okay.
Ryan.
Right on, Ryan. We love you, man.
Oh, don't make me cry, y'all.
But
The
Z,
fact that
okay.
sorry, Ambassador. The fact that he turned
Go ahead.
Colossus more comic accurate and he turned Juggernaut also comic accurate makes
Mm-hmm.
Deadpool and Wolverine turn Hugh Jackman's Wolverine into comic accurate as well. Him
That's going to
wearing
be so
yellow.
fun. That's going to
That's
be
good.
so fun.
I'm going to
Oh
like that a
man,
lot. I've been waiting for
Saturday
that.
cannot get here soon enough. I'm going to see it Saturday night after work with a buddy of mine from college. I have told Alicia and Jack this. I hadn't had a chance to tell you, Ferris. So, and then I'm doing a review of it next Monday. So,
Yeah, I totally can't wait.
I can't.
We'll
I
probably see
can't
a lot of
either.
them at. We'll probably see a lot of them at Comic Con when we go there this week and stuff. That'll be nice to see.
Oh,
Hopefully, some.
that's. Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much. Although I will say there is a going to be a con coming up with the next few months. I may get the opportunity to meet Sean Gunn.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, we're probably doing a lot of the off-site stuff, so we'll probably just be some players as Deadpool or probably Wolverine. Last time we saw a lot of Spider Gwen and stuff like that.
well, yeah, that's because of Across the Spider Verse, which makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Tons of Spider Gwens.
Mm-hmm. And
Hey,
Encanto characters.
oh, that no, not gonna talk about that movie.
Right.
That movie does not exist.
Nope. Mm-mm.
So, um, here's the question: the motivation for Deadpool 2, did it latch on to y'all as well as the first one did? I mean, Grant, okay, he's lost Vanessa. You've got Cable coming back from the future, no pun intended, and you've got this kid Russell. What'd y'all think of Russell? What'd y'all think of Fire Fist?
He was an annoying little shit. But I mean, you had to feel for him because I mean he was being abused, and so uh, you know that's one of those cycles that actually Deadpool ends up breaking because he loses Vanessa. Because if he doesn't lose Vanessa, he would have no motivation to quote unquote put his heart in the right place. He wouldn't have cared of what happened to the kid. Um, whether Cable would have killed the kid or not, it wouldn't have mattered to him. There
Mhm.
would have been no motivation for that, and there would have been no lesson learned. I guess, I suppose.
Yeah, because the truth is, this movie does have a little bit more of a deeper message or anything. It is, as they say, a family movie, but family isn't an F word anymore. At least not for Wade,
Right
because
Mm-hmm.
he
now,
found his family,
now when he goes
and
back in time and undoes that, I'm always like,
yeah, but at the same time, we want Vanessa back, and he has the means to do it. Oh, now here's one question I have for all three of you. In the mid credits scene, or whatever way you want to frame it, or sequence, the main credit sequence, when Yukio and Negasonic are working on Cable's time travel device, does it not look like a futuristic version of an arc reactor?
yeah,
Yes.
I
Okay.
think that's what they were going for.
Yeah, it's almost like accurate somehow.
Okay, that's what I was thinking because obviously he's got that watch or that clock face or whatever, but it's powered by a futuristic arc reactor. And I'm thinking when Negasonic says this thing, as small as it is, it generates so much power. I'm thinking, oh, arc reactor. There's a little wink and a nod. There's a little Easter egg.
He always tries to do that in those movies, and now he doesn't have to anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Well,
time,
another
they were owned by Fox. Sorry about this, but I
That's
mean,
why,
you're
did
yeah.
fine.
any of you guys like yeah? Did any of you guys like pay attention to details when Deadpool like fights Ajax on top of the ship? It's almost like a reminiscent of it's almost
The
the Shield
helicarrier.
helicarrier. Yeah, the
Yeah, I had mentioned
helicarrier.
that. Yeah, I had mentioned that before you got in here, Ferris. I thought the same thing. So yeah, you're not the one who caught on to that. So
Yeah, and now
um,
the time ban on the second movie, and the arc reactor references. But at the time, but I think that was that time where Disney was trying to purchase Fox when Deadpool 2 came out.
I think it was around the same time. Yeah, I believe so
In fact,
because
I believe they did a version of Deadpool that was 100% Deadpool 2 that was 100% super clean, just to show Disney that they could do it.
actually it was Deadpool one. It was released. It was a very Deadpool movie. It was released around Christmas.
Thank you for
Yeah.
correcting me.
Oh, it's okay,
Wait,
Jack.
a very Deadpool Christmas, the one with Fred
No, a very
Savage.
Deadpool movie. A very Deadpool movie, but
Okay.
it was PG-13.
Oh, that's the one where like Deadpool narrates to the kid in bed. Is it played by Fred Savage?
Something like that. I think
That,
I've never actually seen
Mhm.
it.
I've
That's
seen the
correct.
trailer for I've seen the trailer for that movie like when they when they're talking about like we are Marvel. Yeah, but you're Marvel owned by Fox. Like if it's the Beatles produced by Nickelback, it's music, but it's garbage. Like okay, I had enough with this. I had enough with this Nickelback hating thing.
Oh man, that's good. I like that. It's music, but it's garbage.
That was a good
But
line.
yeah,
Well
what
played.
Deadpool pointed out was true. Like like you know who would disagree with you? Facts. 50 million albums worldwide. 11 best musical artists of all time. Canadian People Choice Award. Like like the list goes on. Like
Yeah.
sorry, I thought we were just having fun. You were nice when you were a little kid. Right? And then they would sing "How You Remind Me" by Nickelback, and they bob their head like, "Oh man, that was so well." But
I think one of the biggest. Okay, Grant, I'm kind of a newbie to all of Deadpool and his different iterations, but at the end of the fight scene where his suit gets changed from the red and the black to the gray and the black, like he was in Extreme X Force, I was like, I know that! I know that Easter egg. That's his Extreme X Force suit. And I was like, I love it. So I don't know if y'all caught that or not. You may not have, and if you didn't, it's fine. But
Of course, I would cut off. Like I know that reference. Like when his suit turns
Geek.
into gray and black.
so,
All right. Well, we're gonna have to take off.
well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go. Honestly, I didn't want to go super long with this, so we can go ahead and because we've covered both movies, I think, thoroughly enough. So, Ferris, anything else you want to add before we do wrap up, my friend?
Yeah. I mean, about the soundtrack before, did any of you guys like see the music video with Celine Dion singing and Deadpool dancing in the background? Like, have you guys watched that
Yes,
music video?
that was
Yeah.
Oh my,
I
hilarious.
cannot.
Yeah, it was a
I
lot of
oh,
fun.
cannot say that I have,
uh,
and I'm almost
but
afraid
my
to.
oh my God, that ending when when I don't know if you watched this Ambassador, but you know what? I'm gonna have to like uh, spoil this to you if you're not interested in watching the music video. So like by the end of that music video, like Celine, that was good, thank you, but I want you to do it again. Why? Because it was too good. Listen, this act's only one time, so beat it, Spider-Man.
That was great.
That's so
Oh
good.
man! Now I've got to watch it. Now I've got to
Okay,
watch it.
but oh my God, I still can't believe like by the end of that video, like Deadpool said to himself, "God, I should have asked NSYNC." Like, oh my God, like, is he, like I'm still seriously thinking, oh my God, is he really teasing like NSYNC being the next soundtrack for the next movie or something? Like, oh my God, if that really comes true, I would freak out.
Oh dear Lord, no! Please no! I will.
Don't make
I
it
will,
so. Do not make it so.
Ferris, don't.
I hear she's retired.
Well, yeah.
She is because
she's
of
got-
her. She's got a vocal condition, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's actually too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, which guy?
Oh,
Which I
but Ambassador, sorry to cut you off, but I think I don't know if you remember this because I think NSYNC was played in the background during the second X-Men movie. Remember, like when Wolverine, Pyro,
Yes. Bye.
Iceman were
Bye.
on the
Yes.
clock?
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
It
Oh
was
my God,
bye.
I
Bye.
couldn't
Bye.
imagine if they're. I can't imagine if they're doing that again.
Oh, they better
Like
not.
if you're,
They
oh my
better
God,
not.
if they did, if they did in the second X-Men movie and they reference it in the Celine Dion music video, I couldn't imagine if Ryan Reynolds is gonna do it again. Oh my God, if he does do it again, I'm so gonna freak out. Sorry, I'm kind of a boy band kid growing up. I mean, yeah, I was.
I was
Yeah,
not.
I'm not used to it.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know you were not. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we're all from different generations.
Obviously. Well, I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. Obviously, if you catch us on the rewind, leave your thoughts down below with your thoughts on Deadpool and Deadpool 2. Do want to remind you all, I do have a new Ultra Retro rewind video up on the channel. Go check that out. Me and my friend Ace Mowick, we did a review of THX 1138 and American Graffiti. I will be uploading another video within the next few days as well, which will be continuing the Quentin Tarantino review series. That'll be on Jackie Brown, so keep your eyes on that. And obviously, next Monday night, I will be back live with my live rewind of Deadpool and Wolverine. So be sure to hit the notification on that as well, so y'all can be here. I will have that as an open panel once again. But I want to thank Alicia, Jack, and Ferris. Guys, it has been a while since I've worked with you all. Grant, Alicia, and Jack, it hasn't been quite as long, but always a pleasure. And Ferris, the same for you, young man. Appreciate y'all being here tonight. So y'all have a great night. We will see you all next time. And until next time, these are the ambassadors. Signing off.
Bye.
Let's be friends.
Have you not?